I will be doing a quick tank review for the Soviet Tier 5 TD, the SU-85. For this vehicle being a Tier 5 TD, it is pretty good for its tier once you get used to the vehicle strengths, weaknesses, and how to use the vehicle properly with either of the two top guns that you will be using. The one that I am using, it is a howitzer. It have howitzer stats, so as long as you're used to howitzer stats, you can do quite well in the vehicle when you are using the 122mm gun. If you want a slightly better gun when it comes to rate of fire, accuracy, and penetration, you can just use the top 85mm gun. This vehicle, it is quite important that that you should know what you're doing when you're on a certain part of the map, because you can be killed easily enough if you are at the wrong place at the wrong time. As the armor and the hit points, it is not that great at this tier. Let's get into the vehicle stats themselves. Let's begin off with the firepower. The gun I am using here is a 122mm gun. So this gun have howitzer stats pretty much. Slow rate of fire, terrible pen, accuracy, and aiming time. It is not that great at 2.3 seconds. But with this gun, if you can hit something with it, you can do a good amount of damage, especially if you can penetrate something with the heat ammunition. The load time of the gun, you can get it down to potentially underneath 10 seconds or more, so you could in theory have somewhere between 6 to 7 rounds per minute if you have the correct combination of perks and equipment with consumables as well. The gun traverse left to right, it is quick at 46. Gun depression downward, it is okay. 6 downwards and 25 upwards. The gun traverse left to right, it is okay at 15 degrees either way. Aiming time, it is 2.21 seconds, so not that bad, with terrible accuracy of 0.53. When you are using the howitzer here, you need to fully aim in onto your target and be a relatively safe short distance away if you want to hit the target reliable enough most of the time. Damage output with this gun, it is pretty good. About 2,750 damage. So, if you use this gun properly and have a lot of high rolls, when it comes to damage output, you can do a lot of damage with this gun in a minute, in theory. Now, survivability, it is completely rubbish. 350 hit points, that is not a lot at this tier, so you can take a few hits before you are killed. Now armor, it is good and it is bad. 45mm in the front, but it is angled. So if you angle the armor well enough when you're top tier at times, you may be able to ricochet a few low penetrating shots. Besides that, everything can penetrate you easily enough. Side armor, it is 45, that can be penetrated easily enough. Rear armor, 40. This vehicle have a good amount of weak spots from the front. The obvious one would be the driver and the observer point here, lower plate, and the Kepler thing here. Also, if you have the height advantage, you can easily shoot the hatch here, as this is a weak spot here. This vehicle armor, it is not that thick, so with a well-placed shot from the front, side, or rear, the vehicle modules and crew members can be damaged easily enough. Now, the mobility, it is pretty good for weighing almost 30 tons. The top engine, it is a 500 horsepower engine, which means you will have a good horsepower to ton ratio, 17 horsepower to 1 ton. So when you are on flat terrain going in a straight line or going downhill, you can reach the 55 kilometer mark easily enough. The reverse speed is good at 14. The whole traverse, it is pretty good. It is at 36.50 degrees. So this machine can turn around quickly enough if it have to in a hurry. Now, the concealment rating, it is quite good for a vehicle that is low to the ground for the most part. When it is staying still, it is 22.3. When it is on the move, it is 13.4. The vehicle concealment rating can be increased even more when you have the camouflage net, camouflage perk, camouflage paint, and use the terrain around you to hide you. Now the vehicle spotting mechanics. The view range, it is not that great nor bad, 280 meters. This can be increased with perks and using the binocular telescope here to increase your view range even more. Bring it up to about 350 meters effectively. Radio range, it is not that great at 525 meters. Let's get to the research part of the tank now. The vehicle research is an easy tank to go through, as you will just have to research the one gun to move on to the next vehicle, which would be the SU-100. Let's begin off with the tracks. You have two pair of tracks to use. You can use the first pair of tracks here, as you have a decent enough whole traverse speed still, while able to mount all of the equipment onto the tank still without going over the vehicle weight limit. But if you want to have a slightly better whole traverse, get the second pair of tracks here. The whole traverse changes from 33 up to 35. Now the engines. You have two to use. The first engine, it is not that bad at 480 horsepower. You will be a mobile TD still with that engine, but if you want to have a slightly better horsepower to ton ratio, use the top engine here, as the engine horsepower, it is 500. The vehicle engine here, you would have this unlocked already, as it is usable on the T-34 and the A-20. So use this engine right away if you unlocked it already, if you went down the A-20 line, or one of the alternate routes that get you to the T-34 to unlock it. The radio, you have two to use, the 9R, which is pretty bad, and then the 9RM, which is the best radio on the tank here, 525 meters. You would have had this radio unlocked already, as it is usable on a lot of Soviet vehicles, especially on the vehicle previous to it, the SU-76M. So, or the SU-85B. So use this radio right away, as it is the best radio on the tank here. Now, the guns. You will have to research the guns on the tank here, as you would not have them unlocked already. Unless if you use your free experience to do so. The first gun, it is not that great. It is a 76mm gun, high rate of fire, okay penetration, damage output as well. Accuracy, it is not that great at .39 with a okay aiming time. You will use that gun until you get to one of these two guns, the 122mm gun or the 85mm. The 122mm gun here, as I mentioned, it is a howitzer with howitzer stats. If you are going to be using this howitzer here, the gun here, it is primarily going to be a frontline TD. If you can hit something with it, you are going to be doing a good amount of damage, especially on a high roll. Primary ammo type to be using on this tank here, it is HE, safe heat, for when you are going up against a heavily armored target that you have a problem penetrating with a regular HE. HE is generally a good ammo type to use when you are top tier in a tier 5 match. The 85mm gun, the D5S, is the first 85mm gun, which you will have to unlock to move on to the SU-100. You have another top 85mm gun, the D5S 85BM gun. From that gun to this gun here, you have a reduced rate of fire, better penetration, damage output, the gun it is more accurate with a better aiming time. My recommendation is that you unlock the top 85mm gun, as it is usable on the SU-100. With the top gun here unlocked, it will help you out in the grind a bit in the SU-100, as it will reduce one more thing for you to unlock on the vehicle. To get to the SU-100, you will need about just underneath 1 million credits and just about 27,000 experience to unlock the SU-100. Once I am done going through the SU-100, I will have that review on the channel soon, once I am done with it. Now, let's cover the equipment, consumables, and the ammunition layout, while covering how are you going to be using the SU-85. Let's begin off with the consumables. Consumables, I would go with a first aid kit and a repair kit, as they are quite useful in a hurry when you have to repair a module or treat a crew member injury in a hurry. The majority of the ammo you will be using, it is HE and some heat. 32 rounds of ammo, it is more than enough ammo for you to use in a match. HE, it is quite a useful ammo type to use. If you hit something with it, you can do a good amount of damage to the enemy tank. Especially if you penetrate the vehicle, you can potentially do over 330 damage easily enough. Or one-shot some of the scouts that you will be encountering. Heat, I would only save it for the heavily armored targets that you will be going up against, mainly tier 5 to tier 7 vehicles. Heat will cost you 12 gold or just underneath 5,000 credits. The equipment here that I have here on the SU-85, it is more of a short distance ambush type of TD, while being a bit of a passive scout as well. I went with the medium caliber tank gun rammer to decrease the loading time, binocular telescope to increase the view range when it is being used, and camouflage net to increase the camouflage rating. The other pieces of equipment that you can use if you want to: toolbox to get your repairs done faster, the enhanced gun lane drive to decrease your aiming time. This would be a good idea to use on either of the two guns, as the aiming time it is roughly the same. Coated optics if you want to have more of a permanent view range increase by 10% compared to the binocular telescope, which offers you a 25% increase when it is being used and is activated. And the last piece of equipment would be improved ventilation class 2. This will increase the crew and the tank performance by a bit. Now, the roles that the SU-85 it is quite good at. As a tier 5 vehicle, you are going to have tier 5 matchmaking from tier 5 up to tier 7 maximum. Whenever you're top tier, you can do quite well if you know what you are doing. When you are in a tier 6 to 7 match, you can do quite well if you know what you're doing at the time. What roles is the SU-85 good at exactly? You can be quite a good frontline TD at times if you're using either of the two guns. But the howitzer it is better at the front line role compared to the 85. At the 85, it is more of a medium to a long distance type of gun. This is a good support TD to use when you have to switch to that role. A flanking TD if you have the situation to do so. It can be quite the good passive scout, as with the binocular telescope, if you remain hidden long enough, you can light up enemy tanks that come your way, so your allies can shoot at them if you remain in cover long enough. And then the last role, it is sniping. You can snipe with either of the two guns if you want to. The howitzer it is better when it comes to short distances only, assuming you fully aim in onto the target and it hits them. The 85mm gun it is more of a medium to a long distance sniping gun, so you can do quite well with the 85 if you are sniping at a distance. Based upon the gun you are using, it will affect how you play the tank by a bit. The howitzer is more of a frontline type of TD gun, while the 85mm gun it is more of a medium to a long distance type of play style preference. Besides that, I have one replay to show you how well you can do in the SU-85. This replay, I will show you how well you can do in the SU-85 when you are playing this vehicle very aggressively when need be. But for the first part of this replay, I will show you how you can play the vehicle as a bit of a distant ambush vehicle while being a bit of a passive scout as well. Let me speed this up a bit. I am getting myself to a location where I can spot anything that is coming in the 1-2 line. I am using the terrain here to cover myself while I spot anything that comes my way. With the binocular telescope activated, I saw the Panzers of 4C, the OI experimental. From that position there, I managed to get the first shot off on the OI experimental. Now I am retreating backwards. As I am by myself, I have the M6, the TOG, and the KV behind me for backup. So I'm moving back to the rock here and trying to get myself into a bit of an ambush position to shoot anything that pops out. I missed that HE shot. I am aiming at the track area where I can do some damage. It doesn't do that much to the track area, but at least I did about 50 damage there. The OI experimental there, I'm being careful as it could easily come over here and finish me off. But fortunately, people at base finished the vehicle in the open there. Now I am trying to fully aim in onto the target side there, while falling back after shooting. That OI got out the way in time. HE. With the rate of fire that this gun does have, it may not do a lot of damage when you have low rolls, but when it does hit something and you do have a high roll, it definitely feels nice. After taking X amount of hits, I am being very careful now. That was one time in this replay that I made a mistake. I got a bit greedy trying to shoot at the KV-220, so I'm letting the M6 pop forward, though it can shoot at the TOG, the Swedish tank there, and then the KV-220 if it's alive still. I switched to heat to make sure I can penetrate the TOG. This Swedish tank here, I missed it by a bit. With heat, I finished the KV-220 off. This is where I make a mistake. I really should have gone to the other side to the planes in my rear there. I did not do it at the time when I had a chance to actually speed backwards quickly enough, and the TOG killed me. This match, it was a win for my team for the 2 kills that I did. The 2 kills accumulated about a total of 2,230 damage just from a combination of HE and heat rounds. So that is pretty good for being in a TL 6-7 match. Let's go to the garage now to do a brief recap on the tank itself. Let's do a brief recap on the SU-85. The vehicle itself, it is not that great nor bad at this tier. If you know what you are doing and play toward the vehicle's strengths and weaknesses, you 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 can do quite well in this vehicle. Remember, based upon the play style that you prefer to use the SU-85 in, you can do quite well, whether you using the howitzer or the 85mm gun. Both of those are quite good, based upon your personal preferences. Besides that, remember, due to the SU-85's thin armor and low amount of hit points, if you are at the wrong place at the wrong time, or take too much damage in a short amount of time, you can be killed easily enough. Besides that, I hope that you learn a thing or two about the SU-85 and how to use it properly. If you like this video, leave a like, a comment, and even follow my channel as well. Good luck on the battlefield, everyone!